May 2nd, I'll be your host, Nick Houston, also known as Tigos132. Joining me, Brad Coleman, also known as Zysmo.
What's going on, guys?
Josh Dabney, also known as Beastin21.
What's up? We can always fuck it and hop in the bucket and haul ass. Are you a snake? Because I seen you crawling in deep grass.
And introducing, from the Gamecast, Jacob Olsen, also known as Not Busy Enough.
I'm new.
What?
Special guest status.
All right, so what we do first, Olsen, is we go around the table, talk about what we've done in League this week. And I guess it'll pretty much just be Conerman and Dabney because we haven't really played.
No, I did some stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Would you update
because Conerman because Conerman has stories, we'll just let Dabney go first. Dabney, what have you done?
Well, it's been a tough week, to say the least. I finally just decided to start playing Phil in every ranked game that I do, not calling a particular lane and doing a particular role that I'm most comfortable with, but just trying to learn all the roles in ranked games. And I've been either like top, sometimes support, or I even played jungle once. And it didn't go so well. I played a couple games with Conerman, and the bronze 85s are real. Let's just say that.
It was.
And we lost, I think, what was it, like 3 games in a row or something?
We played 2 of my qualifiers, and we lost. We lost both of them.
And I mean, the struggle was real in like each of those games. Like 2 of them, I think I played support, and one game I was like 1, 2, and 10, and we lost. And another game I was like 2, 3, and like 15 or something like that, and we lost. So I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. But anyways,
I also played really shitty. At least in the first game, I played really, really bad. The second game was a little bit better, but I wasn't exactly playing the best.
Yeah, but I mean, like after that, I played a couple games today, and then like I lost both of those. And anyways, to make a long story short, is now I'm silver 1, got that demotion. It's real, but
He's with the rest of us.
It's kind of, giving me a drive to be better. So now my goal is to learn all of them so that I can feel and carry, kicking and screaming. So today, I played a game of ranked, or just like right before the podcast, and I won. So I'm almost up for my qualifiers again for Gold 5. Getting back.
There you go.
It's going to be real. Kicking and screaming, carrying noobs for days. So that's pretty much it. Just been working on my ranked games.
All right. Olsen, what have you done?
All joking aside, I updated my client because I haven't opened it in a long time. But I did some research on maintaining composure while inside the game, because you guys talked about it last week, where I have a problem where I freeze up, and what it is if there's a reason I like single player games is because that's all I have to think about is myself, and if too much is happening, for some reason my brain just shuts down. So I've been looking at ways at how to manage that in League of Legends and games in general, because I play better when I'm calm, and if I can try and maintain that calm, and when I start to play with you guys, I think I can do better. But that's what I've been doing.
Dude, just put some Enya on or something. Soothe you right down.
I do have Glory for the Trees or whatever that album is.
Just play that one chick whispering in your ears the whole time.
The whole time.
Dude, that's
So when you're playing, she's just like,
the ASMR or whatever.
I'm just gonna put my dick in your ear. I mean, my
Whoa, hey, whoa.
I'm just gonna suck your dick.
We got little kids that listen to this podcast.
I hate that.
Hey, 18 plus.
18 plus. No,
Disclaimer.
It's got explicit tags or whatever.
Yeah.
We good.
So we Gucci.
Gucci, man.
Hi.
We could say all those cuss words like poop and butt and brownies.
There you go.
Brownies.
That's racist.
That is probably racist.
All right. That's
It's
it
just
for me.
whenever we start playing some normal games, I need to start playing again, because I'll just go ahead and say I haven't really played this week, so I haven't done anything. Then all you gotta do is remember, normal games don't matter. They're just for fun. Now, we don't give a fuck about them anymore like we used to.
Yeah.
So just remember that they don't matter.
We need to get you to
I don't
level
think
30, Olsen, first of
Yeah,
all.
we-
So that
yeah,
way
we
you
need
can
to
get
do
some actual runes and masteries. So when we're playing against 30s, you're not still level 23 or whatever, and you got the crappy runes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Coleman, what have you done this week?
So for this week, I pretty much went over it in our game cast, but I had my League of Legends weekend extravaganza. I tried to get promoted this weekend. I think I logged roughly 30 games, and I didn't get out of Silver 5. I played, 5 qualifiers and failed all 5 of them. So it's been a weekend of learning and just managing my rage and just kind of like realizing, hey, I'm not the best player in the world, but I need to get better at the game. So
Can I ask a question?
go for it.
No.
Is that because like there's a lot like the player base is getting better, so it's harder for you guys? Because like if I remember from like 2 seasons ago, it was easier for you guys to qualify that high, and now it seems like it's more difficult. Is everyone else getting better
The issue
too?
wasn't me getting into qualifiers. The issue was me winning my qualifiers. And
Okay.
a lot of people like to blame their teammates, but I found that like, dude, it's just on me to fucking win this shit. Like I would play pretty well, but I definitely could play better, and I've noticed that. But like I've got some stories from this fucking weekend that we'll go over before our special segment, that just like highlights some of the fucking toxicity from like other people in this community. That's just like unfucking believable, and that's kind of what's changed my opinion of how I look at ranked now. So I've changed from a like getting mad at losing to okay, it'll eventually happen. I'll eventually get out of this. I just got to play through it. Like if this isn't gonna matter tomorrow, whether I lost today. So it's kind of a learning experience that I'm going through right now. And then I did a lot of the tribunal system. I've been getting into that, and that was kind of because of these players that I had to deal with this weekend. So it was a little depressing, but it's overall, I think it's going to be for the better. I'm gonna take it as a learning experience. So yeah, I'll get into the stories. I got two pretty good ones from this weekend. One positive and one negative. So
Okay. Well, and like I said, I haven't really done anything. I don't even think I've opened my League client in like a month, because I've just been doing other stuff instead of playing. Just been taking a little break. I'll jump back into it. I'm sure as soon as I update it and play one game, I'll be back in it.
yeah, like with the new changes to the feral flare and everything, man, and like how prevalent bruisers are even more prevalent now, man. You're gonna like your play style is like fucking top tier meta right now, so you're really
And
gonna enjoy it.
that's my jam.
Dude, one of my stories, I started playing Jax. Dude's fucking off the chain, ridiculous, awesome.
Well, when we get to the segment, we'll talk about that.
All right, sounds good.
Let's just jump into the news. Not any patch notes to go over. There's not any patch notes to go over, so it's just news this week. Bunch of weird shits happened in professional gaming.
Yeah.
The spring split finished, and they were playing I guess it's the Challenger Series. Well, it's not called the Challenger Series. The people, or the teams that were winning the Challenger Series, got to play the bottom 2 teams for their positions in the LCS. So, I know LMQ played against... I can't remember I think it was XDG, and I can't remember who played Coast.
Yeah, actually, I heard about this. No, I think Coast played... No, you're right.
Yeah, so there's 2 new teams in the LCS. LMQ's one, and I don't know who the other one
Complexity
is.
Black, I think, is the other one.
Okay. So,
Basically,
XDG and Coast, yeah, got dropped down to the Challenger Series, where they could qualify again, basically, if they started playing better. But instead, they just fucking disbanded.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so... Well, that's what I'm reading anyway.
Okay.
I haven't seen
Well,
I haven't seen an official statement, but from everyone's talks about, like, yeah, they've got all these fucking, like, Shifter and Zion Spartan are like free agents now. Like someone could pick them up, and fucking
crazy.
Benny's retired from like professional gaming, like
Like-
XDG Benny. Like all this shit is going on.
Just drinking a margarita on his porch. No, I was talking to one of my buddies, and he was talking about the Coast Complexity Black game, and he was saying like Coast was winning the entire game, and then they basically went in on a Baron fight, and Complexity Black beat them like 3v4 in Coast's favor in the Baron pit, and basically fucking took like their whole tower line and just won the game. Like everybody was like, what the fuck? Like, because everybody was like, all right, come on, Coast, just end this game because it's over now. And then they just totally threw the game. So Complexity Black won that one, and then I guess Complexity won the next two, and people were just like, what the fuck? So apparently Coast just threw that shit. So go ahead and check that stuff out on the like the YouTube page for LCS, because apparently it was a major upset. So
Yeah, and everyone I think was expecting LMQ to be XDG anyway, so that wasn't much of an upset.
yeah, I think Coast and XDG were the bottom two on LCS.
Yeah, that's why they played against the
like
challengers.
the only teams besides C9 that TSM lost to. Like, so it's funny.
No, they lost to XDG and they lost to Coast.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They lost to those two
Oh,
teams
both
and
teams,
C9.
Yeah, they didn't lose to anyone else.
I don't know. I didn't watch the end of LCS.
Ah,
I'm gonna be honest.
anyway.
That was kind of like during our we're not really playing League that much. So,
Yeah, so I didn't watch the games, but either way. So yeah, a bunch of weird shits happened. I know Zion Spartan's like a good top laner and stuff. And a lot of people are saying another thing that happened is Nien, Counterlogic Gaming's top laner, left voluntarily because he said he thought he was holding the team back.
Really?
So yeah. So
What?
yeah, so he left the team, so they need a top laner now, and Zion Spartan's available.
Well,
So I'm
from what
kind of hoping they pick up Zion Spartan.
from what I remember, the LCS, so both of those players are like, they're good players. Don't get me wrong, but they were inconsistent players. Like sometimes they would pull off some of the fucking craziest shit and win games, and other times they'd just be like really lackluster. Like when you look at TSM and Dyrus, he's always a very consistent player, and he plays at the same level every game. Whereas these guys sometimes they would literally carry their team to win, and other games they would just kind of like feed the other top laner. Like they would never play at a consistent level.
Well, that's kind of that's like how Zion Spartan plays. Is he's a carry, he's a top lane carry
He's super
champion.
aggressive, yeah.
Where Dyrus is kind of like he's just a rock, where all he is he wants to be a fucking tank to be there to soak up damage and shit. And that's how it's just different play styles. So when Zion Spartan couldn't get fed, he wasn't that good. But I also think that Coast was kind of fucking holding them back, because aside from their mid laner, Shifter,
Mhm.
I think, yeah, the rest of the team didn't seem that good. So it was basically Shifter and Zion Spartan and 3 other people.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm hoping CLG picks up Zion Spartan, because I think,
Zion Spartan's a beast, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that him being on a team where he's not forced to be the carry, he'll be able to do better.
Yeah.
Like, he'll still be able to carry. Like, he's not going to have all the pressure on him in mid lane.
Time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell.
Yeah.
That's all just speculation. Other thing in the news, the craziest shit in the news. Well, actually, there's 2 more things in the news that are crazy. High's in the hospital with a collapsed lung. So he's not going to be able to go to All-Stars.
So
Dude, he's
High
like the
is
skinniest kid ever. Like, I don't know how you have a collapsed lung. Like, unless some fat chick like sits on your chest.
maybe he's into that, man.
Like-
So before we get
Maybe
into
he likes
this, so High is Cloud9. He's their mid
Yeah,
laner.
he's Cloud9's mid laner
Yeah,
and shot caller.
He's mad money. He was going to the All-Star game.
Yeah, he was going to the All-Star game, and then it's just like, collapsed lung. Like, and
His whole team
apparently
got
it wasn't
jelly.
for any reason.
Out of
They
the
just
blue.
said he spontaneously had a collapsed lung. Like, he's just
Just
like
woke
fucking
up one
playing
morning.
League, and it's just like, like,
It's
like,
like,
like, I don't know how that shit happens. I've never heard of that happening before,
can't
but all right. Yeah.
I've heard of people just like having collapsed lungs before though. Like
Yeah, but I've heard it
and they
from
don't
like
even know it.
a giant impact or something. Like usually people
Yeah,
get
usually
hit.
something happens.
Maybe he's like
It does-
He couldn't
trying
handle
to suck
that.
his own dick and he's like collapses his
Whoa.
lung or something.
Huh?
Easy.
Yeah, I mean, there is that possibility.
There is that possibility.
Can't rule that out.
You
Can't rule that
cannot.
out.
You absolutely can't.
My lung never collapsed when I try to do that. But whatever.
But we wish him well. We hope he gets better because he's a beast mid laner.
Yeah, his recovery is apparently going fine, but he's not going to be able to get on the plane to go to Paris for All Stars because you
shame.
can't get on planes with lung conditions because of the change in pressure.
Right.
So, like, even if he recovers in time, he still can't go. So, I don't know who's going in his place, but whatever. That was just weird. And the craziest shit, even crazier,
Even crazier.
X Special is benched from TSM, or on TSM, and they're going to hold tryouts for a new support, and X Special has to compete to get his spot back on the team.
Dude, if I was him, I'd be like, screw you guys. I am not doing that. Like, if
Well,
you,
I think he had a vlog that said he was talking about his attitude was kind of the reason why that happened, not his play style.
yeah.
And
Well-
he's saying he has like a passive aggressive attitude that kind of gets him in trouble sometimes and
Yeah.
maybe makes it seem like he's blaming his teammates when he's really not. So that's what got him benched.
And that's one of the things that you see, like, when you see these guys that are playing at this level, a lot of, like, the top teams, like, because they basically live together. So they have to be,
They do live together.
like, yeah, they have to be not necessarily, like, best friends, but they have to be friendly, and they have to literally, when somebody makes a fucking decision in game to go all in, the rest of the team has to follow them no matter what. Because, like, a second of hesitation can literally cost these pro teams a fucking team fight. So you can't have any like distrust in your team at that level, and that's just like when you have some sort of issue like this, like if somebody has drama between another member on the team, it can really affect their play. So
Yeah, and I don't even know if it was drama because they always say that when they're playing and if someone makes a mistake, they never call out the mistake in the game because there's no reason to argue about it.
they can
They
go over
they'll
that shit
talk
later.
about it. Yeah, they'll talk over it later. So I don't know what he said that got him in trouble, but apparently it wasn't a team decision. Like the team didn't get together and say like X Special, fuck you, or anything like
You're
that.
voted
They
off the island, bitch.
Yeah, you voted off the island, bitch. They said it was a management decision, and since Reggie's pretty much the manager, I guess it was Reggie who said it.
When you say
So-
management and Reggie in the same sentence, I just laugh. I just
Well, I
imagine
mean-
him like walking around scratching his ass.
Well, I mean, he is the manager of TSM. He did create the team,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm starting to get some respect for the guy. I didn't like the guy for the longest time, but it's kind of interesting watching him turn from player to coach, and then how he can just sub in and play and still do
Yeah,
well.
even after
That's
playing
insane.
for not 6 months, he does good.
It's insane, man.
I think they did better with fucking Reggie coming back
Mhm.
instead of fucking Bjergsen.
I don't know. I like
because,
Bjergsen a lot. He's so good. He's just like.
I like
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I like Bjergsen too but their play style is different. Where fucking Reggie is like he doesn't want to be the playmaker. Like he'll fucking run in and set shit up for other people.
Yeah.
And Bjergsen will kind of hang back and wait for other people to set stuff up for him.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
just
true.
different. And I think it's good Bjergsen came in because it made the other people realize that they had to play better to set stuff up for him.
Mm-hmm.
So they were doing that, and then Reggie had to come and sub in, and it just had everybody kind of setting stuff up for each other. And I think it worked better as a team when Reggie came back in, and they still had a play style adapted to Bjergsen. And then Bjergsen came back, and they didn't do too great.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably just changing people fucks with them. You have to get used to them and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I don't know what the fuck is going to happen with X Special. They were saying if you could make a really good team out of all the people that are fucking like free agents right now in LCS, like Zion,
So all
Spartan,
this-
Top.
They're all just gonna
fucking-
join together.
I was watching his stream and like people were asking him that. They were like, "So you gonna get like a free agent team together and just start your own team?" He's like, "No, dude, I'm not doing that." He's like, "You know how long it takes for like a legitimate team to come together and learn how to play with each other? It's like it takes forever. Like you can't just get really good people and put them together and just hope that it all works out. Because like if you don't know each other, then you have all these different play styles and like no one's like on the same page with anything.
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, that's how just new teams work. If like it's not like X Special was fucking familiar with TSM when he came into TSM either.
He's been around for a long time, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he's talking about like he wants to be competitive now. Like he doesn't want to be on a team that's going to be like, well, maybe here in like a year or in a couple seasons they'll be good enough to like compete. He like wants to be with a team that's already like at that level of competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I get that, but also if he somehow doesn't fucking make it back on the team, like there's somebody better out there, and there might be, because there's a lot of people that could get picked up.
Mad Life.
No,
I don't think Mad Life is in it, but I mean just normal challenger people who are pretty good people. Like I'm sure someone would be willing to pick up X Special. I still think him and Lemon Nation and Aframu are the fucking best supports in NA that I see, at least in the LCS.
Yeah.
So
Did Aframu always play support? Because I remember watching his stream and he was an ADC like a long time ago.
He could.
I remember watching old videos of him and he played like a Mumu, or I feel like he played a Mumu. I can't.
Because he used to
like,
stream a lot and he'd give like tips and stuff. Early on in my League of Legends career.
Well, he might have just been like a solo queue player or something, or on a different team, and they picked him up and they were like, "Your support," and that's his role.
He's
now.
like, "Oh,
I don't know.
All right. Well, Olsen, what's your take on it? What do you think's going to happen?
Dude, this is all way over my head, so let's keep going.
All right.
Okay. Well, we're done with the news now.
All right. So, what are we on right now?
Champion rotation of the week.
Oh, yeah. Do you have a link to that?
Yeah, it's in the show notes.
Oh, there it is. What an idiot.
Where it always is. So, anyway.
Well, I guess I'll go last then.
This part, Olsen, we go over the free champions of the week. We pick one that we would play and say why, and one we wouldn't play and say why. And it's just the free champion. So if it would take a long time to lose or learn the champion, then we could not pick him for that reason or something like that. You'll Dabney and fucking Coleman can go first, and we'll see.
We'll carry you, Olsen, like always.
Yeah, we'll carry you like always.
Damn.
All right, so the free champions this week: Cassiopeia, Cho'Gath, Jinx, Leona, Lulu, Malphite, Nautilus, Orianna, Sona, and Trundle. Bam. Dabney, who would you pick and why?
I know what you guys are gonna think. Oh, he's gonna pick Leona. Nah, not. I'm gonna pick my homie Malphite. Simply because Malphite is probably the easiest champion to learn. He doesn't do anything, and his ult is like user friendly.
His ult's brutal, man. Like watching him do his ult
and build armor. That's all you got to do. You can jungle with him. You can go top lane. Hell, I've even used Malphite as support. You just whatever you want to do, he does it all.
He's actually
you can take him mid.
He's actually really strong right now. In the current state of the game, I see a lot of people playing him, and he's not necessarily snowballs, but he's just really hard to take down. He does a lot of damage.
Yeah. Malphite, surprisingly, I know he's labeled as like a tank or whatever. He has a lot of burst damage.
Oh, yeah.
Like this dude can come fly in with his old Q, smashes with his E, and then like you're almost dead, if not dead at that point. Like he does a lot of damage, and everything scales off of armor, so you just like shred through ADCs.
I think only his E scales off armor, and the rest goes off AP.
Ability power, but I mean like you just build armor.
True that.
He's real. So yeah, I would say for a week, I mean there's not a lot that goes into Malphite other than what we just said, just build armor and just watch people blow up. Yeah, I would say Malphite if you only had a week to play a character.
Okay. Coleman, who would you pick?
I'm going to go with my girl Lulu. I tasted purple. I actually enjoy playing Lulu. I know a lot of like the high elo players, they like to play Lulu mid. I've kind of messed with that idea. And it works, but I'm just not, a good Lulu player. I don't have enough experience with her yet, but she's a lot of fun because she's got her little what's the things called. It's like a pixie
polymorph?
or something like that.
Oh,
The little animal
Pix or
thing.
whatever his name is?
Yeah, a little animal thing that she has. So you have, your cues, like you can just shoot it at super weird angles, and then you've got, your polymorph, and then her ult's really cool because you can make something just fucking giant. And I don't know, she's a lot of fun to play. She's pretty easy to pick up. She does have a lot of abilities because most of her abilities are like 2-part abilities, depending on whether you use it on a friendly or a enemy. So a little bit difficult, but for the most part she's pretty easy to pick up. So I enjoy Lulu.
Okay. Olsen, I already know who you're gonna pick.
Who
would you pick?
Don't. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So I got a new outlook on
Uh-oh.
this League of Legends, but like I honestly probably would pick, and I know Dabney said it, but I would pick Leona, because I've kind of, it just coming from a beginner standpoint. I can't talk about builds or anything like that intelligently, but like when I've played Leona in the past, I've been really comfortable, and I'd like to like Sona. I mean, I kind of have a good grasp of Sona, even though I could probably learn more. But Leona, I want to learn more about her, and that's probably who I would pick this week. Oriana would be the one that I would stay away from, and I honestly don't think
we're not at there yet. Easy.
Oh.
We're still
Easy.
talking about why you would pick. So, what do you like about Leona? Since you're a casual player and you don't have a lot of champions, so now that it's free week, like you look at Leona, like what draws you to her and like makes you want to play her, or why is she so easy to pick up?
Damn
Because,
titties.
no, and honestly, it's I like playing support. I mean, that's kind of common knowledge to you guys. But even though she's like secondary support, she's still kind of tough. Like you guys were saying last week with when I would play Sona, like because I had my build wrong, I would get killed in 2 hits or 3 hits and stuff like that. I'm just really soft. Leona's not soft like that, and I could try and maybe if I'm staying alive longer, I could learn more about these kind of champions, these tanky champions like that.
I think what you're getting at is Leona's a little bit more forgiving because
Sona, that's the way I put it.
Sona's like a super squishy champion, so if you make a mistake, like it's really easy, especially with bot lane when you have these super strong ADCs, that they'll just destroy you in a few hits. Whereas Leona, she takes a few more hits, so you have a little bit more leniency to make a mistake. That's why Dabney plays her so much, right, Dabney?
Mm-hmm. It's true though. Like tanky champions, they're more forgiving in making mistakes. Like you can miss something or like dive too deep, and you have that leniency of like, okay, well I know that I can take a few shots. That's fine. Sit back, heal up from like whatever items I have, and then go back in. Although they can't do a lot, like they don't do a lot of damage and things like that. Leona's really nice because of her CC, and you can get kind of forgiveness with that. But yeah, the tanky champions are built that way.
I feel like
Okay.
her not her ultimate, her, what is it, Eclipse?
Which one?
W?
Yeah, her ultimate
I
or
think
her W,
I think her W,
the shield.
yeah, the shield can
Well, it's not
really
a
help
shield,
out.
just
I mean, I
boosts
don't
your armor
haven't
and
played her
magic
enough to like really talk about it, but I think it's almost, as from a support role, it's kind of, it can be really effective depending on who you're playing with.
Have
Oh,
you
that's
tried
what I'm
playing
next first.
Thresh, Olsen?
I'm not good enough to play Thresh yet.
That's a very difficult champion to play for a week.
If that was on there,
He's
this
a
would be
higher
the one
skill level.
I think the reason that I like Thresh so much is he's such a fun and dynamic support to play.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like you can make flashy things happen, but
He's the
That's
Lee
what's
Sin
like-
of he's the Lee Sin of supports.
yeah, that's with like every like high skill cap champion. You can
Yeah.
either look really good or really stupid by playing Thresh.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that when I come around to the one I don't want to play. So
All right, so Houston.
Well, Thresh isn't on here. All right,
I
for
know.
me, I'm gonna go ahead and say my dude Trundle is the one I would pick.
I was expecting that.
He's a bruiser. You can take him top. You can take him in the jungle. He's got good utility. He's got his W that gives him fucking attack speed and more tenacity. He's got that pillar that can block off
Oh
fucking
man,
escape routes and shit. You can make plays with that pillar, and his Q hurts. And
So-
he can destroy. He can destroy towers, and he can just fight people.
So what's
That's
your
what I
basic build? I know you like on most of your champs, you have like a basic. Okay, you must have this on this champ.
I haven't played him in a long time, but the last time I played him, it was basically I would get Blade of Ruin King, some boots, any kind of boots, just depends on who you're playing against, and like a Randuin's Omen or something.
Okay.
And he had the attack speed, he had damage, lifesteal, and he was tanky enough that he could fight anybody. And then it just kind of depends on, am I getting fed? Am I countering them? Like, I don't really have a set build on Trundle. Like, Trinity Force works really well on him. A Spirit Visage works really well on him with the extra health you can get.
Well, what I'm getting at is, like, you pretty much on all your champs, you have a point of no return. Like, once you get to a certain point, it's like, okay, just leave him alone. Like, he's got it at this point. Like, I know on Jax you were talking about, your Trinity Force and your Blade of the Ruin King. Like, once you get to that point, then it's just like, all right, just let him do his thing. He won't ever need help again in his lane or anything like that. And I think on Trundle, once you get your Blade of the Ruin King, that's when you start to get pretty big on Trundle.
Well, on Trundle, it's not really the Blade of the Ruin King. It's not really items on Trundle that when you get big, it's when you get your ult on Trundle.
Okay.
Because once you hit level 6, his ult does a shit ton of damage and it heals you a lot and it makes you fucking huge. And once you hit level 6 on him, you can fight people and you can fucking get out of a lot of sticky situations just with your ult.
Okay.
So with Trundle, it's not necessarily an item point, it's his levels. Once you hit 6, you're good.
Okay, cool.
Well, basically. Alright.
Let's run it around.
Let's run it around one more again. And who would you not play? Dabney.
I look at it and I know who Olsen's going to pick, so I'll stay away from that. But I'm just going to pick Jinx, simply because ADCs are annoying and hard to play to begin with. If you want to learn ADC, I wouldn't choose Jinx. I think that there's easier ADCs out there to play than Jinx. Although she is a lot of fun, once you learn how to play her, she can be really good. But that's another one of those high skill cap champions. Like, a lot of her, or 3 of her abilities are skill shots. One of them is a long range skill shot. You can fire it across the map. And then her W is like shoots the electricity or the laser, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the slow.
And that's a skill shot. But that ability shows exactly where you're going to shoot it. And it takes a while for it to, like, I guess, charge up or whatever. I think it's like a 1 second build up and then it fires.
I don't think it's 1 second. I think it's like half a second maybe.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, like, it takes a little bit to charge that up and then shoot it. And then, like, her root, you throw it down, but it's such a small range. And then there's like a second from when she throws it. Like, say she can throw it right on you. Those traps, it can land on you, but
you can
not
run
activate.
off it real fast.
Yeah, you can run off.
It has a little bit of activation time once they're down.
Yeah, so it's like one of those things where you have to really plan on how you're going to use those things to, like, root somebody in the ground with it. But like I said, if you do, man, you look like a beast because, like, you can root someone down, slow them, and then just blow them up, like, quickly because she has so much damage. But it's just a matter of, like, getting to that point. Yeah, so I would say if you're going to play an ADC or if you only have a free week, I would say stay away from Jinx.
Yeah, she's one of those ADCs where, like, if you can get good at positioning, then she's really good because she doesn't have a quick escape like a lot of the ADCs now do. Like, she can't roll like Vayne or fucking dash like Lucian or net back like Caitlyn or something. Right. And if you get caught out of position, you're out of position with her.
That actually brings me to my champion. So for me, if you're kind of learning the game and as a first-time champ in mid, you don't really want to play Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is like a really tactical champion, whereas you kind of have to know where your enemy's going to go because a lot of her damage is done with her poisons. So you're basically throwing poisons on the ground, and you have to really have a lot of control over your workspace. Also, she's really squishy, where the more and more we're playing League, the more and more tanky champions are getting, and she's staying at that level of if you catch her, she's done. And she doesn't have a ton of mobility either. Her ult is a AoE cone stun, but besides that, I mean, it's pretty much just like you're throwing poison on the ground and you're just spitting your Q at them. So Cassiopeia is a really difficult champion. Or not a difficult champion, but requires a lot of knowledge on positioning, and you could even say tactics.
Yeah, like the biggest thing with Cassiopeia, because I used to play her a lot, that I found was mana conservation is like huge with her. And if you're not cognizant of like all the abilities, because her abilities are on relatively low cooldown, so you can just like spam her abilities relatively quickly. And before you know it, you're out of mana. And then once you're out of mana, you're kind of screwed with her, because like her auto attack is really slow. It has a pretty short range. She doesn't have any abilities that help her get away from things. I mean, like, her poison slows, and it kind of gives you a speed boost, but that's only if you land it. And if you don't have any mana, you can't do anything. Her ult, you have to be really close to use it. So it's really hard, and like you were saying, it's all about positioning and, like, using her combo. Because, like, whenever you use her E, if a target is poisoned, whenever you're using it, which is her like, fangs or whatever, it goes on like an immediate cooldown. Like, I mean, it goes off a cooldown, and you can use it again if they're poisoned. So it's all about, you know, timing like your Q with your E and just like kind of unloading on them, but managing like your mana at the same time. Like, you don't want to mess that combo up, and you know, put your E on cooldown for a long time or whatever. So.
To me, Cassiopeia is like the Draven of mid lane, like for APs at least. To where you have an extra thing to worry about besides what you're normally worried about as a mid champion.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, she pushes a lane. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
And that's another thing that can get her in trouble is she pushes like Mordekaiser or Morgana. Like, they just like push the lane all the way underneath the turret, and that keeps you at a distance. And if you're past that halfway point, like Trick says, if they're past halfway point, they're dead.
But that can also
all
be.
All it takes is like one gank come flying in, and then it's pretty much over.
But she's a good champ. Like, I know when I play LeBlanc and I roam a lot, she's a good champ to play against me, because as long as she plays defensively and she just, you know, waits until I leave lane, she can shove my lane and she'll punish me by taking my tower while I, you know, I roam. But I normally
if you're playing against that type of person,
because she's so squishy.
But if you're playing, like, say, like you're playing against like a Fizz or something who doesn't want you to push the lane until he hits level 6, and then he's just blowing you up because you don't have any way to get away from Fizz. You know what I mean? You don't have any lockdown.
Sure.
You don't have any CC. It's just kind of like, I hope this ult lands perfectly, because if I don't stun him, if I don't like turn him to stone, then I'm screwed. I'm about to get blown up.
Absolutely. All right, who's next?
Who you got,
Olsen, who would you play?
I kind of let it go already, but I was going to pick Orianna just because, like I said earlier, I can only focus on so many things. And the fact that when you use her Q, it's left behind. I could see myself just like absolutely forgetting that or not knowing how to use it. I mean, I think I've played Orianna one game, and I absolutely had no idea what I was doing. I think I tried to play it with like by myself. Like, you guys weren't even playing with me, and I was just like, no, this ain't gonna work.
Well, one of the things
all of her stuff is so nuanced, and like it's a lot of positioning, like you said, and there's a lot of skill shots too, and that is not me at all.
Yeah. One of the biggest, I'm by no means an expert Orianna player, and that's the reason why I can recognize this, is because I see the pros playing Orianna, and I'm just like, man, how are they pulling that chick off? Because they do a lot of damage as Orianna, and I don't. And the reason is you have to really use your ball effectively. Like, every time you send that ball out, every time your ball passes through an enemy, it does damage to him. So basically, you use your Q and send your ball out. But you also have to predict, okay, as soon as it hits him, I can bring it back and shield myself or something. And when it passes through him again, it's going to hit him again. And that's how, like, the pros accumulate so much damage on this champ. And then they start getting pretty big, and it's just it's items from then on out.
She's pretty hard to learn.
Yeah. A lot of positioning.
Yeah, I mean, because like Olsen was saying, there's so many nuances with Orianna. It's like all the little things is what makes Orianna so strong. But
it's like Zed.
Knowing those things. It's like, you know what I mean? Like when we were talking about Malphite, like his ult, how he can just dive in. Like, Orianna's supposed to put a shield on Malphite when he goes in and he smashes everyone up. Orianna's supposed to use her ult that grabs everybody in. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? It's like all those little things, and like, if you're not cognizant of how to play with Orianna, like that kind of stuff is what's going to get you killed.
Yeah, you have to know how to micromanage all your abilities.
I think if you play Orianna with a team too that is either has a lot of abilities that would move the enemy champions around and stuff like that, where you can't predict exactly where they're going to be, so you can line up those shots and line up your ball. Like, if you're not in good sync with your team, I don't think you could play Orianna,
like
effectively
Orianna
either.
is an extremely good AoE champion with an AoE team. Like, say you had like Misfortune, Leona, Orianna, Malphite, and then like someone else that had like an AoE ability, or like Master Yi or something. And like when all of those abilities are like working together, like it looks crazy to see like the devastation you can put on people, because like everybody's pretty much in this small little area and they just get blown up with everyone's ult. Yep. So I mean, like, she can look really cool, or you can like totally screw it up and like drag people out of everyone else's ult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like a whole bunch of stuff that can happen where you can screw it up. So
yeah, and the other,
she's not very forgiving.
The other thing is she's a she's a secondary support. So like, after you have a team fight, when you're running out, she can use a shield, just like Lux. She has a shield. She has she doesn't have a snare, but she has slows, and she can still poke people as you're running away pretty effectively with the ball. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Houston, I think you're up, man.
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna pick Nautilus.
Oh, the old naughty knot.
Yeah, he's one of those junglers that's like, he has really good utility and he can fucking make team fights and stuff like that. But he's sort of like Maokai in the same sense that he's mana dependent. He has a fucking slow as shit clear time.
Yeah. Well, he's just slow as shit to begin with.
Yeah, he's slow to fucking begin with. And you're really reliant on other people when you play Nautilus. Like, if you're Nautilus, you're probably not going to fucking 1v1 somebody.
No.
You're going to have to be there and hope your team is coming, and you're going to have to hope your team is pretty good to fucking back you up. Because you can set up the plays for other people, but you're probably not going to be able to make many yourself. Or you can make plays, but you're not going to be able to finish somebody off usually.
Nautilus is one of those like really taboo champions. Like, you don't see him a lot. But when you do see him, it's normally somebody who's played quite a bit of Nautilus.
Yeah,
so it's kind of.
I think just the reason that he doesn't show up anymore is just his clear time really sucks in the jungle. Like,
it's all too far behind.
Yeah, he's useless in almost every lane. So you don't take him in the lane. He's stuck in the jungle, and his clear time sucks. So usually, especially now, where like Feral Flare and stuff is like fucking the super item that everyone builds.
Yeah,
and everyone has like is picking like carry jungles that have a incredibly fast clear time, and you're Nautilus, you're just gonna get fucking out leveled. Like, by mid game, you're probably gonna be a couple levels behind the other jungler unless they're fucking up.
Like,
if not invaded all the time.
I remember when Nautilus was introduced. Was he introduced as a jungler, or is he introduced as to be a different role? Because his primary role on here is a tank.
Support / jungle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was introduced as a jungler.
Okay.
Because with your anchor, like, I can't remember the ability name, but like where you throw your anchor out, you can like make some escapes and you can pull people in.
You can fuck that shit up so bad.
Yeah, you can fuck that shit up. I've seen people fuck themselves up where like they miss somebody and hit the wall behind them.
And they go into a tower.
Yeah, so they fly into like where they just pulled and like pull themselves into the enemy team and a tower and shit. So you can fuck it up. But yeah, he just gets fucking out leveled so fast in the jungle now that he's just not worth playing. Unless you get really good with him, which will take longer than a week anyway. So still not picking him.
Don't do it.
Longer than a week.
Don't do it.
All right. That's going to cover the free champions. Now we got to move into that special segment, babe.
Super smooth.
This week, by request from Conerman, we're going to talk about how to deal with trolls in the league.
The troller man himself. Okay,
so I'll just let Conerman go ahead and explain why he wants to talk about it.
Okay, I've got, let's see. I guess I'll start with the bad and I'll end with the good. I've got two stories from my weekend extravaganza of League. So the first story, let's see. I played a game. This was my third game in one of my promos. It was like second or third promo for Silver 4. And they ended up not banning LeBlanc, which was surprising. So I was like, oh fuck yeah, I'll play LeBlanc. And I'm in the loading screen, and I'm matched up against a Fizz who is also in his promos. And like my record was like my KDA is 9 point something to 4 point something on LeBlanc. It's pretty high. And the Fizz is like, what was it, like 8-4 or something like that? 8-5. So I was like, oh, this is going to be a pretty good match in mid. This is on me to win my lane here. I got to earn my promo here. So we start the game, and we have Rumble top and Jinx and Morgana bot. And let's see. First, at 3 minutes, Jinx dies bot. I'm like, all right, whatever. We're playing against a Vayne. So I'm like, okay, she's not going to be a huge issue right away. But we got to keep an eye on Vayne and make sure she doesn't get too big too quick. But Jinx can come back. And Rumble says, dumbass. But spells it like D-U-M and then B-B-A-S-S. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. I was like, Rumble, whatever, man. We'll just play it out, chill. And he's like, he keeps talking. Like, he just keeps talking shit about bot lane, like how they threw the game and everything. I'm like, dude, relax, man. And I think at 5 minutes, I killed Fizz the first time. So it's like 1-1. At 6 minutes, Jinx dies again. So this in 6 minutes, Jinx has died twice in bot lane. So she's obviously way behind, and Rumble just freaks the fuck out. And he's just like, dude, he must have had a really bad game, or he must have had something going on that, like, because he was obviously in a really shitty mood. And at 7 minutes, he dies. Rumble dies in top lane. And he's like, I did it on purpose. And I was like, no, dude, I was watching you. Just like, it's not a big deal. Just fucking keep playing. This is my last qualifier game. I just want to win this shit. Like, just play this shit out. In a few minutes, I'll start roaming because I'll be bigger than Fizz. And I think it's like 8 minutes or whatever. I'm 2-0 at this point. So I'm obviously winning my lane. So it's only a matter of time before I start roaming. And Rumble fucking dies again. And like, I looked up there, and he was under Darius's tower. I was like, what is he doing? Like, maybe he dove, and I looked at Darius, and Darius is full health. I was like, what the fuck? And then, in all chat, Darius is just like, oh, did you DC or something? And Rumble's like, no, I'm just gonna feed. Fuck this. I'm just like, dude, we can still win. Like, chill out, like. And he's just like, well, whatever, fuck this, whatever. And so he feeds him again. So he's like 0-3 at this point. I was like, oh my god, whatever. I was like, dude, just chill. And so Rumble's like, no, you guys, stupid dumbass, Jinx lost the game, blah blah blah. And so he's sitting at the fountain at this point. It's like 11 minutes in. I killed fucking Fizz again, and he's just like, oh, fuck this. I'm going to go AFK. Fuck you guys. He's like, enjoy Silver 5, scrub. And I'm just like, oh, God, like, cool, man. And then so he disconnects at this point. And then they're just like, what happened to Rumble? We're just like, just report him if he doesn't come back. And I'm like, look, guys, we can still win this. Like, I'm pretty big right now. As long as we play this right, we can still win, but we just have to do it quickly. I was like, Jinx, just play safe or whatever. Like 3 minutes later, Rumble reconnects. He's like, oh, I didn't want to get breakfast. AFK, though. And I'm just like, you're there. Like, you're talking to us, man. So for the next, like, 7 or 8 minutes, this dude sits at the fountain and just talks shit to our team. He's like, you fucking dumbass bot fed. Like, for no shit, for like 7 minutes, this dude is, like, dancing on our fountain, just talking shit to us. And he's telling me, like, have fun in S5. And, oh, that was the other thing. He wouldn't surrender. Like, at 20 minutes, we hit 20 minutes, I'm just like, dude, we can't win this shit now. Because Darius was huge at this point. And so we're trying to surrender and just end it so I can get into another game. And this dude won't surrender. He keeps denying. I guess somebody else was denying the surrender too. But dude, I was just like, what is your problem? So they finally won. And at the end of it, it was like the first time in my fucking league career that I have ever put a comment in a report. Like, sometimes I'll report somebody just for being, like, generally toxic. But this is the first time I actually took, like, 2 minutes to type something in this report. And that's what really motivated me to like actually get on the tribunal system and like look at this and just avoid this shit from happening again. But needless to say, the point of this entire story was like it can always be worse in your game. So don't get discouraged when somebody dies or when somebody is just being toxic. Just try to ignore them and try and pull through it because it could be so much fucking worse.
Yeah. That's whenever someone's just super toxic or some shit, I just ignore them now.
Well, that's what I did for a while.
I try not to fucking even say anything to them, or I don't care. I just fucking ignore them.
I think it's good that you talked to your Jinx though and was like, fuck this guy, keep playing, you're doing good.
Well, that's the only thing you can do.
Supporting the guys that maybe that Jinx is a guy, obviously better than me because he's qualifying, but like. Is a guy like me who, makes mistakes and don't know what they're doing or something like that. Mm-hmm. And there's toxicity doesn't help that in the least. Your comments and your encouragement probably helped that Jinx and made that Jinx play better than she would have if you hadn't said anything, I bet.
Yeah, it's just like I got to the point to where, obviously I was in my qualifier, so I really didn't want to lose, so I was doing everything I could, but it kind of like made me see like, oh, when you talk to somebody like that and you say, hey, look, this is all we need to do, guys, just we need to team, group up and work together and we'll be all right. A lot of the times you'll get a lot more positive response than, hey, or like even if you say, hey, chill bottom, or like relax bottom, just don't feed bottom. It's like, just be like, all right, no big deal, man, just let us know if you need some help or something, because that when your team is fighting, it's like so
it makes it worse.
Detrimental. Yeah, like
just the way I think about it was, what could I be doing instead of just talking shit at this point? What could I could be, when you're typing, you're not fucking playing the game.
Right.
You're not killing minions, you're not fucking killing another person, you're not clearing the jungle, you're not looking at the mini map. You're fucking talking, and if you just sit there and talk shit for a minute, you're a fucking minute behind the other person who wasn't talking shit.
Right.
So how did you deal with it? What did you do after?
I basically just reported him, and then like, I honestly wasn't mad that I lost my qualify because I was just so shocked at like how mad this fucking kid was. Like, I was just like, whoa, like, dude, like I honestly thought this guy had some problems or something. Either that or he probably just had a really, really bad game and he was just in a really shitty mood. But I was just like, dude, like why are you even playing the game when you're like at that mental state? Like, and like I just kind of try and, because I still, I'm not saying I don't get mad at the game anymore. I mean, I was playing with fucking Dabney the other day and I was like yelling like, God damn it, like, but the point is like, no matter how far behind, especially in low elo like silver and bronze, like it doesn't matter how fucking far behind you are. All it takes, look at the fucking Coast Complexity Black game. It doesn't matter how far behind you are. You can come back, and all it takes is one play and one coordinated team effort, and you guys can still win. And I don't know, it's just like that kid, man, just like opened up my door to like, you know what? It could be a lot worse. Let's just play through this shit.
Yeah.
So, you guys got anything to say about that? I mean,
we've all been in games where like people just rage on you.
Yeah.
Like
I've never been in a position where somebody was literally just sitting in our base, just talking shit to us.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had it necessarily that bad. Usually kids either like just quit or they're still in lane, like trying to farm or whatever, and they're still typing and all that kind of stuff. Like I had a game, I think it was yesterday. I was just messing around. I actually was watching X Special play, and that's how I found out that he was kicked off the team or whatever. And that's when they were all asking him if he was going to join the team. But anyways, he was playing Thresh, and he didn't pick Coin or Door and Shield. He picked the other one, whatever the other support item is. I can't think of it right now off the top of my head. And so I was like, oh, that looks like a cool build. And I was like following his build, and that's what I started off with. And like, as I wasn't even out of like the beginning area, and they were like, "Noob Thresh," or like, "Why you pick that item?" Like, poor. They was just like talking shit, and like my Vayne, who was the ADC, was like, "Oh, this Thresh sucks. Cool guys, GG." Like saying this in all chat, and then, like this, like Zed was like talking shit, like, "Yeah, Noob Thresh, who picks that item? Like, must be the first time playing this game." And just like all this stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't say anything at first. I'm just quiet.
You just encourage
just trying
it.
to play, and I'm just trying to like, just play the game, just show them that this can work and whatever. And like we get in there, and we're playing a little bit. It's like 5 minutes into the game, and I'm like trying to hook someone. And for anyone who's played Thresh, like his hooks aren't the easiest thing in the
All
land.
it takes
like,
is one miss, and your team is
one miss. And after they had already called me a noob to begin with, I should have made sure that it was a little bit better of a chance of me hooking them, but I was trying to make a play and look cool or whatever, and I made like this really hard like hook. It was kind of like in between minions and stuff, and I missed. And dude, oh my god, this Vayne about had an aneurysm. He like started pinging the map and stuff, and he's like, "There are ashes in here. He's right here." He kept like pinging all over. He's like, "Why'd you throw your hook here when you know that he's moving this way?" Like, oh, and I'm just like, oh my god, like please stop. I'm trying to play this game and have fun. And he's just going on and on and on. And then Vayne dies. He like does something stupid, like he either missed like his condemn, or he did a tumble or something. I don't remember what it was, but he got caught, and it had nothing to do with me. There's no way I could save him. And he just got caught and died. Like he was either like in the lane too long and should have went back or whatever, but whatever it was, like he died. And then I was like, dude, I've had enough of this kid, because it was this is like 7-8 minutes, and I'm like, "New Vayne," like, and then everyone's like, they're like, "I don't know who's more new, but it sounds like bot lane sucks," and like, all this shit. And like every time Vayne died, I was just relentless. Like I ended up going like 0-3-0 or something like that. Like we surrendered at 20. But it was just every time I made sure that everyone in the game knew that this Vayne had died. It was like not enough that said ally had died. I had to make sure everyone said that Vayne just got caught and died. And I mean, it was just like one of those things. Like, I shouldn't have done it. Like we could have probably pulled it together. But like, dude, like you go that hard for like 7-8 minutes, and I'm like, okay, dude, I have no more sympathy for you. Like I can understand, like you get mad. Like I get mad. I don't type things when people make mistakes unless it's like stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, like now I have a vendetta against you. Sure. And like everyone else, like they would die, and I'd be like, "It's all right, guys. Like we can still do this." But like every time Vayne died, I made sure everyone knew that she died.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where I just got caught up in the moment. It shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? But it did. And I mean, that's just kind of like what you have to deal with in League. You always have people that are going to rage and freak out, and you seriously have to be the bigger person. So, like I mean, it's like a life lesson. Sure. But like you do have to be the bigger person in League. Otherwise, like you're never going to get anywhere.
Now, Nick, you mentioned like any tips and stuff that I could kind of give for like how to deal with these guys.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a tip on how to deal with a toxic player. I mean, one really easy way to do it is mute them. Because you're still going to see all their pings. You're just not going to see the shit that spews out of their mouth. So that's one easy way to do it. But one of the best ways to deal with like a rough loss that I've found is take a break. I know it's even for me, it's really difficult for me to take a break because I'm so like angry and hot-headed that I'm like, oh, let me just get back in this game and get another game and grind another game out. But you really want to take a break, like fucking go get something to eat, go like take a break and watch a stream, take a shower, go to the gym, do something that'll get you away from the computer especially, and walk around for fucking 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Go do some push-ups, something. Like, do something that you can relieve some stress, and that's going to help you relax and kind of come at the next game with an open mind and a clearer mind because, like I said, I'm really hot-headed when it comes to losing. So when I join up for another game right away, I'm still in that mindset of, oh yeah, I have these items on Lee Sin. I can dive, whoever under a tower at level 4. No, you can't do that. Like you have to come into that game with a level head and remember, oh, I'm starting a fresh game here. Don't play too aggressive because when you play aggressive, you get killed. So
I've always come at it with the philosophy. You kind of said it earlier, where if you're typing and you're talking shit and responding to hate and stuff like that, that's time that you're losing, and that's concentration that you're losing. If I don't play a lot, it's obvious by now, but like the times that I've ever typed into that chat window have either been in the last 5 seconds of the game or the first minute. And I honestly don't even look at the chat window unless you guys point out some either other toxic player or some funny shit that might be happening. But like, I don't even pay attention to it. And like you guys talk about all the time, how you, when you play normal games, when you're trying to learn champs and stuff like that, you'll turn off chat. I'll probably turn off chat since, I'm talking to at least 3 of my teammates while I'm learning and while I'm getting better. I don't need to be worrying about the chat and
somebody talking,
the possible hate.
Telling you how bad you are.
You're telling me how bad I am, yeah.
And I'm one of the biggest, like, there's a reason why they call me Trollerman. Like, I used to be so fucking toxic on this game that it was unreal. And I think that I've come a long way from where I was, but I'm still not where I want to be. So it's a daily struggle.
It's a struggle against your true nature.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's hard.
Of being a dick.
Oh, dude.
and a
I
troll.
can be such a fucking dick and troll online and just make somebody cry. But that's not how you win games. And that's what we're all here to do. That's actually what I said. I said this to somebody this weekend, and it actually worked. I think I said, like, hey, are you guys here to fucking win a game, or are you here to bicker and yell at each other? Because if you guys want to be fucking brats, you can be fucking brats, and I'll go sit in the fountain, and you guys can yell at each other for the next 20 minutes, and I'll just sit there. And they're just like, okay, man. And like, I was surprised it worked because I was so hostile the way that I came across. But I was like, look, we're all here to accomplish a fucking goal, and that's to win this game. So let's just like man up and get this shit over with. I don't care if you hate each other. Let's just get this shit done and end this shit. Queue up for another game. So I don't know. That's my depressing story. That's like the God, man, why do I play this game story? So you guys want me to jump into
this? You'll have
this?
plenty of those if you play League of Legends long enough.
This positive light? I'll jump into it since I'm not getting any feedback. All right.
Go ahead.
All right,
What?
so I'm trying out. I'm playing ranked, and I'm so fucking tired of seeing Jax that I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna try Jax out. So I tried Jax. I think I was jungle Jax, but no, I was top Jax. I'm playing 13 minutes in. I'm 0-5. I'm 0-5 against a Nasus with 300 stacks at 13 minutes. So this is not looking good.
Yeah, Nasus kind of wrecks Jax.
So
not the best matchup.
Basically, I'm like, Ziggs, look, man, if you want to, can we switch lanes, please? Because this dude's just going to keep steamrolling me. But I told him, I was like, look, you don't have to switch lanes. I can just play really defensively and just try and play it out for late game. He's like, oh, yeah, I got it, man, I got it. And he, like, runs up there. And Ziggs, like, dude, Nasus just shits on Ziggs. And then Ziggs, obviously, fucking freaks out. He's like, this fucking stupid-ass Jax, like, fed this guy, blah. I was like, I told you, man. Like, that's what I was trying to say. Like, can you cover for me? And so he ends up quitting. He just quits the game. Our Lee Sin was super toxic at this point. But our Sona and our Vayne in bot lane they just kept doing their thing. So I was like, man, good guy Sona and good guy Vayne down bottom, or good girls. So I just keep playing it out. I just keep farming. I get Blade of Ruin King and Trinity Force, and then I commence Operation Backdoor. So as the other team started fucking around too. Like, they were just doing stupid shit. They're like, oh, Ziggs left, blah, 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 easy win, free LP, fucking nerds. So I'm just like, they're like doing Dragon and Baron, and they're just like running through our jungle and shit, pushing our mid lane every once in a while. While they're fucking around, I just go top lane and beat the shit out of the top towers. So I took the 2 top towers, and then they disappeared, so I went back. Right as I went back, they showed up top lane to clear it out. I did this like 3 times. And at the end of this, I basically had their top inhib. Like, they didn't have any of our inhibs yet, and I took their top inhib. So we were actually ahead in towers at this point. And like I dodged their Nasus like 3 times. Like I'm like using flash and stuff to get away from him, and I just like talk shit. I'm just like, "See ya, nerds," and they're just like, "You can't talk shit to us. You just use flash to get away." I was like, "Who's dead?" They're like, "Nobody." I was like, "Exactly." And they're just like,
"You're just talking about how it's bad to talk shit, and you're talking shit."
It's okay to talk a little bit of shit to the other team.
When you talk shit to the other team, it's good.
'Cause that
Then
means-
they type into you.
What is Sky's motto? It's like you got to play like psychological battles against the other team and make them fight each other. That's kind of
yeah.
So, but okay, so that happens, and then they're still like fucking around, man. They're just like, "Oh, look at this NASA 700 stacks, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Look at me teleporting mid," and I take their mid tower and they're in him in mid, and then I run away. Then this is like 27 minutes in, Ziggs comes back. He's like, "Is this fucking game over yet?" I'm just like, "No, man, we're trying to win here." And then we all teamed up, even though Ziggs was like fucking 4 or 5 levels behind. We teamed up, and while they were doing Baron, and we wiped them. We took out like 4 of the 5 of their guys, and we had like 3 still up, and then we just shoved mid and we won the game. So the point of this story is the game is never fucking over. And Jax is stupid over fucking powered.
Yeah, Jax is like straight retard strength.
So, yeah, I mean, I basically just I built for a backdoor. Like, I literally had like a Trinity Force, and I was just building attack speed at that point. So, but yeah, that's my positive story. You can always win.
Yeah, you real.
So, y'all don't got nothing to say?
I mean, not really. I already said my thing. When I have people trolling and shit, I just ignore them. There's nothing I can fucking do.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really you can say about trolls. It is what it is. That's just part of the game. So it's about either being a bigger person or going along with it. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's just whatever you want to do. It's your preference. Like, I don't know. I would say don't feed the trolls because they only get bigger. Like, don't answer, don't respond, don't do anything. They eventually are going to give up because they're just going to be talking to themselves.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Just keep trying, and then eventually, if your team does come around, or if you just happen to be a late game team, because I've seen a lot of trolls that freak out because they don't know that their team is a late game team, and then all of a sudden your team starts winning team fights, and maybe your team is a better team fight team, and you win one team fight, and because you weren't feeding the troll, like you win, and then everyone's like, "Oh, cool, we can actually win this," and the dude like gets quiet. Mm-hmm. And, people start working together, and then it's something that can go. But if you're, like, feeding him and, like, belittling him or berating him as well, and, you two are going back and forth, that's a distraction. You're never going to come together if you're doing that. So,
yeah, one of the most
one of those things.
Satisfying things, I think, is, you have a troll early in the game, and then you guys end up, turning the game around and winning, and then reporting that fucker after when the game's over. They're like, everybody's like, "But we won." I was like, I don't give a fuck. That piece of shit was toxic as fuck. You guys should report him so you don't have to deal with that bullshit again. So
yeah, I remember this. Sometimes though, when you report people, it just feels like nothing happens. I remember I played this one game where this guy, I think I was a support and he was the ADC, and we were doing fine, and then something happened and he just started fucking feeding. For some reason. Yeah, he just started feeding, just running into the tower. He's like, "I'm just gonna feed, fuck you guys." Like, someone said something to him. I can't remember. He's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have talked shit. I'm just gonna feed now." And I was like, "Cool, whatever."
Like
so I just fucking
ego shit. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
I was like, "Shut the fuck up. You weren't that good anyway. Just like you were carrying this shit before." It's just, but so he fucking did that, and I just ignore him, and we lost because it's a fucking 4v5, and he fed the other team. Yeah. But then I played another game right after where he was fucking on the other team, and he fucking was just feeding again. So we went, and I'm like, so I reported him twice.
Yeah, and that's when you tell your whole team, you're like, "Hey, I was in a game with this guy last game, and all he did was feed. Somebody report this piece of shit."
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, just fucking report this guy. He's fed 2 games in a row at least. And I don't know if anything fucking happened. Like, is it still just feeding to this day?
Well, one of the things that you can do, because trust me, I have been reported quite a few times. One of the
surprisingly, I have too.
Well,
but I don't really.
Well, one of the things you can do, if you at least want that person to realize that they were reported that game, report them for verbal abuse, because it shows that person. I don't know if a certain number of people have to report you for that, but dude, like when I was like fucking high horse in my toxicity, like almost on a daily, like a gamely basis, it would, like, after the game was over, it would show, you have been reported, not all summoners have the greatest games or whatever. You have recently been reported for verbal abuse or whatever. And it basically was like, hey, we're warning you. And the first time I saw it, I got that, like, that sphincter effect. I was like, oh shit.
Sphincter effect?
It's going to ban my account.
Yeah, like, oh shit, they're going to ban my account. I think I was banned once. Yeah, I was banned once.
You got no chat privileges, or like you got limited chat privileges for
I do remember that. That was the funniest thing, because Conan would use up all his shit because he was still a troll at this point, so he'd just use up his things to just say, I can't talk the rest of the game, so I just want to use this one message to say fuck all of you, or something like that. and then I would be like, Conerman's a bitch. Yeah. Like, listen, he won't say anything. He won't say anything. He won't even say he's not. And then he couldn't fucking say anything.
I'm like furiously typing, and it's just like, you can't talk yet.
No,
like another 2.5 minutes.
What it was is like, I remember this specifically because you had 5 messages per game, and I remember specifically one game you were like, I'm gonna troll 4, and I'm gonna leave 1 just in case I need it. And you did your 4, like, you guys are faggots, whoever's feeding, whatever. And that was your 4 messages. And you used up your last one, like, telling me something, like calling me an idiot. And then you needed to talk to the rest of the team, and you couldn't. And I was like, yes, that's what you guess.
Yeah, I remember not being able to, like, actually put out pertinent information. Like, hey, they're coming to the jungle, and I'm just, like, typing. It's like, you can't talk yet. And I'm just like, no! So, yeah. But, yeah, like, if you report somebody for verbal abuse, I'm pretty sure they at least see that. Another thing you guys can do is you guys can go to the tribunal and vote on all the cases. And that's a pretty cool system, too. I talked a little bit about it on the Leaguecast, or the Gamecast. If you guys want to, that's one of the things that I do to cool down after a game. If I lose, I'll go to the tribunal and I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll do it. A
lot of it's if you want a really good laugh, go to the tribunal and read the chat.
Oh yeah,
that stuff is hilarious. Like, some of the gems you can find in there are just hilarious.
Did you guys find out? Do you have to be level 30 to do that?
Yeah,
I don't know. So. Log on right now. Go to the.
I think
I'll send you the link after the podcast.
I'm 99% sure that you have to be level 30. Okay. Well, I guess that does it for this week. How to deal with trolls.
The Conerman episode.
Narrated. Yeah, the Conerman episode. Narrated.
The Conerman narratives.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
The Conerman files.
Yeah.
Conerman files.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's the show this week. Everybody, you can visit our website at mediocregamecast.podbean.com. Shoot us emails at mediocregamecast@gmail.com. Just in the subject line, say whether it's for the Gamecast or the Leaguecast, and we'll respond in the show. You could be famous.
Yeah, surprisingly, we have a Gamecast also. And this strapping young chap, Jacob Olsen, is on that. So if you want to check out Jake...
If you want to hear more of his sexy voice,
smooth.
Go ahead and just...
If you were like, I heard the 2 words that he spoke on this show, I need more in my life.
Hear more.
He talks more on the Gamecast.
I'd like to have his sultry penis in and around my mouth.
Whoa.
Easy.
Sultry penis.
Salty.
Oh, salty.
Okay. Nobody wants that shit.
Ain't nobody
want that Olsen dick. Okay, anyway. You can subscribe to me on YouTube at Togos132. Sometimes I make League videos. It's been a while because my internet sucks. But we're gonna try to make more videos and have a YouTube channel dedicated to the Gamecast where we can make fucking League videos and game videos and all this shit. So be ready for that. Follow us on iTunes. We're on that. So that's it. We'll see you next time.
All right, later.
Later, guys.